Hello, I think I am live on YouTube. Hi, Saki. Yes, I'm well. I hope you're well too. And hello, Gen Science to Soul Tower and Transformation. Lovely to see you too. Just give a few moments to see if anyone else is going to join us. Yes, I thought I would just come on and do a live. It's a little bit well, quite hot here, at least by house standards, and the ability to sleep is limited a bit because of the heat. So I thought, while I'm awake, let's make some good use of the time. So that's why, because it's nearly 12:30 here in the UK. But I'm a bit of a night owl anyway, and I say because of the heat, there's no rush to try and sleep. So all right, oh well, that's good then, Selkie. That's good. But I'm glad about that. So, um, this live is about self-empowerment. It's something I've been thinking about over the past couple of weeks, few weeks, and particularly it seems to be what my daily draws have been highlighting, and it's something that we could all do with a bit of self-empowerment. So and also I've been thinking about how the court cards sort of have been coming up as well in my uh, daily readings, and our aspects of their characters can relate to the idea of self-empowerment, of being empowered to um, fulfill your life journey. And so I thought that our, is there a way we can combine the court cards and use them in exploring the different aspects of empowerment, and using their personality traits, their associations, and to see how that may help us understand how we can use those principles to feel more positive and confident about ourselves and our ability to meet the challenges that we may face in this life. And we certainly do face challenges and in this life, and but as we will see, we can let those challenges become opportunities for us to grow and to develop and to empower ourselves through them. And we can empower ourselves in order to be prepared for any challenges, but also empower us for not just challenges, but also for the good times, when things are going well, to enjoy life in all its aspects, along with the challenges. So I was looking for an idea about self-empowerment, something I was looking online about how to, what is self-empowerment, and this is what I found this. So, I'm not going to claim I've come up with this. This is something I found, but I thought it summed it up beautifully. What I thought I wanted to convey. So, self-empowerment. What is it? What's the definition? Self-empowerment means making a conscious decision to take charge of your destiny. So I'm going to read that first bit again because I feel like it is very important. Self-empowerment means making a conscious decision to take charge of your destiny. And what I like about that, I mean, that is empowering in itself, because sometimes we may think that, with the idea of our destiny, or whatever we want to call it, sometimes we feel that we're not in charge. There are other factors and other people may be in charge of our life path, our destiny, or however you want to term it. But to self-empowerment means that we consciously choose to take charge of the direction of our lives and where we're going. And that in itself is the key to self-empowerment. It also brings in the aspect of responsibility for self-empowerment. That if we're the ones that are making that decision to take charge, then everything that follows on is our responsibility, because we're the ones that's making those decisions. So we need to be prepared to take responsibility for what we're doing. And it continues, it involves making positive choices, taking action to advance, and being confident in your ability to make and execute decisions. So it involves making positive choices, taking action once we've made those choices to act, and then being confident in our ability to make and execute decisions. Self-empowered people understand their strengths and weaknesses and are motivated to learn and achieve. So, I included this bit because self-empowered people understand their strengths and weaknesses. Self-empowerment doesn't mean that we're going to be perfect, that we're some sort of superhuman, that there aren't flaws or weaknesses. We'll understand what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and how we can best use that awareness. And it's having that motivation to learn about how we may grow and how we can learn. It involves a lot of learning, and then through that learning we can achieve. So how, which I think is very important for us, that it is a process, it's a learning process, and it's being aware of our strengths and weaknesses, acknowledging that that there are things we're not so good at, but we may learn to improve that, or we may learn to live with that and compensate that with the strengths that we have. So, so let's see, how does this connect with, yes, in family dynamics, in society? It can get lost. We can lose our sense of our confidence, to be ourselves and to follow the path that we feel that we ought to follow. We feel that we ought to conform to what society expects of us and what other people expect of us. And it's easy to lose that sense of empowerment. We can lose that confidence. We can feel that we're not able to make that conscious decision to take charge. But it is a conscious decision. It doesn't just happen. We have to choose to make that decision to take charge of our destiny. So how does that relate to the court cards? Well, the courts of the four suits, it's the people and personality cards. Court cards of the tarot can be quite often a source of confusion, a bit of how do we interpret court cards, how we use them in our readings. We sort of can get the minors, we can get the majors, but the court cards, how do they fit in? And for someone that's learning tarot and working with tarot, sometimes they can be a little bit of a snag in the learning process. And even a lot of experienced tarot readers sometimes, they find a way to work with them, but there's still something about them that sort of eludes the full understanding. And I by no means am saying that I have cracked the secret of the court cards. But you have the four sort of what I will call levels, types within the court cards. You've got the page, the knight, the queen, and the king, as we know, and we have that in all the four suits. So I'll start with the sword suit, which is that of the mind, of communication, of rational thought, of intellect. And the page, to me, is the student. He's the learner. He stood there and he's holding the sword, and it may be the first time that he's picked up the sword. So it's that beginning process. It's that learning level of, and he stands there. He's not going to go anywhere with the sword. Just stood there, going through, getting used to the weight of it, literally getting to grips with it, learning how it feels in his hand. So this to me is where it relates to self-empowerment, is when we're at the early stage of something, or something new, a new idea or some new plan or concept that we hi Danny, good to see you. And it can be a young person or a young at heart person, and that kind of thing. But I'm not necessarily going to attribute sort of like, what type of person. This is more or less the concept, the level of empowerment that we have. And you may say, well, how is sort of the inexperience, we're still needing to learn. How is that empowering? Well, it's empowering in the sense that we're being receptive to receive new knowledge. When we're standing in the position to be receptive or new information, or of learning something new, that is empowering to ourselves. And if we are a person that likes to learn, and to receive new things into our minds and to work with them and to get to grips with them. That is self-empowering. That is important. That's where we begin any process. Is by the learning, admitting that we don't know everything, and the ability to do that, you know, is very important. Um, you know, self-empowered people understand their strengths and weaknesses. It's learning about ourselves, learning, having that self-awareness, and are motivated to learn and achieve. So what better do we get with the page sort of level? And this is all to do with learning about ideas and information and knowledge. Then when we move on to the night, we're taking the knowledge that we've learned and we're putting more action into it. We're acting upon it and seeing how it works out in practice. And the nights are very motivated and focused, and having that motivation to act upon the knowledge that we've gained, um, empowers us to be able to experience new things and to work towards a goal. And sometimes the nights can get a bit carried away, they can rush forward and get into a bit of trouble. And it's that willingness also there to make mistakes, because we learn from them. So it's continuing that learning process of moving forward. So good night, Selkie. And then we have the Queen of Swords, which is learning from the experience that we've had through the night. We take that and we develop that. We develop our strategy. We sit with it, and we nurture it and develop it further. And then when we get on to the King, where then we're increased in confidence and we seem to be like the master of our minds, the master of our knowledge. We know how to use that knowledge. We know how to apply it. We can make decisions. We believe in ourselves and the authority of ourselves, and that's when we're really fully empowered to do what we need to do. Likewise, that when we have a thought, an idea, that often affects us emotionally, and we have the Page of Cups, which then we're learning how to deal with that emotional response, that creative energy that comes through the idea. And to me, the pages to me sort of like get a small part of the element. So he's only the cup here has just got some water with a fish in it, and he's looking and getting the essence and the nature of that. He's got like the sea behind him, but he's not like immersed into the sea. He's just looking at a part of that water as much as he can handle. So it's learning to know what our limitations are and what we can handle at any moment of time that empowers us to move forward. Then when we go to the night stage again, it's acting upon that, living out that, going on that quest for what will stimulate us emotionally and so forth. And then the Queen is there. She's actually more into the middle of the sea. She can dangle her feet near the water. So she's a bit closer to the element. She knows what her feelings are. She's more aware. She's got that knowledge, and she can nurture herself and her feelings. And taking time to nurture ourselves and to take care of ourselves is empowering for us. We need to do that. Neglecting that is the opposite of self-empowerment. And then when we get to the King stage again, we're again in the middle of the ocean, often with swaying waves and everything like that. But still on a firm foundation. We have control of ourselves emotionally, and we know how to deal with things on an emotional level, the situations that we find ourselves in the middle of, and we can respond with that sense of confidence and well-being. And when we do that, that often inspires us to want to have a vision to achieve something. You know, we have that leads us to the wands. And the page again is that learning level as to what is it that we want, what is it that we have a vision for, a passion for, what is it that we really, really want to achieve. And it's, you know, what is it that has taken root and begun to grow in our hearts through that other process, and how can we move on from that? What's the best way to achieve that and work towards those goals? Then when we've gone through that initial process, if we go to the enlightenment again, and that level empowers us to be like the knight and to move forward, to take action on what we've decided we're going to do, and to move towards our goals with that motivation, determination, or, you know, determination, focus, um, not being dissuaded or discouraged by any situation or opposition. It's just we're going for it regardless. We're moving and we're speeding up the process, and we're moving on our path. We're believing in ourselves and gaining in confidence. The Queen again is being aware of how we're achieving that. Being self-aware in that process, being able to nurture and develop that vision, that sense of purpose and passion, and to make sure that we don't let it die out, that we don't let things come in and quench the flame. We take care of it, and we have that confident energy in order to take care of ourselves and the goals that we've set before us. And that, of course, then um, leads to the king, um, which is someone that is very confident, in charge, and will knows how to achieve things. He's very self-accomplished, self-confident. He's got his vision, he's got his passion, but it's in a way that is controlled. It's under his mastery. He's in charge, and he will dictate how things go. And if he needs to bring in other people, he will be the one that's leading the way, very much a leader. And this is my vision, and if you want to be part of it, this is where we're going, and this is what we want to achieve. So it's the take charge aspect, very much making that conscious decision to take charge of our destiny, and that the King of Wands is certainly someone that does that. So, and lastly, when we do that, we will then see things being manifested in our lives, and we'll see our goals become a reality, that we can see, that we, you know, a tangible, noticeable reality around us, that what we've sought to achieve comes to pass. And the page is all about, again, if you look, he's taking this pentacle, he's looking at it. He's not surrounding himself with pentacles. He's just in this one pentacle as much as he can handle at first. Of what he and often we begin small and build on that, and that's important. Sometimes when we think that we're a beginner, or we feel that we're at the beginning stage, that doesn't empower us. That we're seeking to get to a higher stage. But this stage is the very important stage, and is the most empowering of them, because we're being receptive to receive the things that we're wanting to bring in. We're making the space in our lives for it. We're getting rid of things that we don't need anymore to make way for the new things coming into reality in our lives, so that we can receive them and welcome them, and they won't be lost on us, because we'll have prepared the way and we'll have gained an understanding about the implications of these things becoming real in our lives. So that learning process, that beginning process is key in all of this. So it's often the most empowering, being willing to learn and and to grow and to be receptive of that. That is the most empowering thing that we can begin to cultivate within ourselves to move us forward. And of course, then we have the Knight of Pentacles, who seems to be not rushing forward so much as perhaps some of the other knights, but makes that sure and steady step. We're, we're we're not in a race for this. This is at the right step at the right time, and to we may need to take time to navigate some tricky terrain and obstacles. So we may need to tread carefully and watch how we go, but still with that determination and focus of not giving up, continuing step by step. And then we have to resist this. Inside it today, everything seems to be geared towards being instant. That you press a button, you click on something, and something happens instantly. And if we don't get it now, or we don't, it doesn't happen straight away as we want it, then we get frustrated. But sometimes the most important things and the things that will last in our lives are not achieved or built quickly, but over a period of time. But it's not wasted time. It's time where um, things are built well and in the right way, and in due time, when it's finished, it will be of a firm nature, solid building that we've built. So there may be a temptation to rush things, but that would not be empowering. We need to go at the pace that we're supposed to go, and to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. It's not just getting to a certain destination. The key things that will empower us and teach us are each individual steps of that journey. So that in itself is empowering. And then, of course, we have the Queen of Pentacles, who again she sat there and she's in the middle of a beautiful surroundings with growth and of that energy. So she's been experiencing the growth of this, so she knows, she's experienced a bit more of that, of through acting upon that and persevering. She's seeing the results of that, and she's just looking at what's being achieved and enjoying it and sharing it, and looking at what she's achieved and how she can take care of it and how she can share it with others as well. So, and that's an empowering thing, to be able to share what we've achieved, not in a way of showing off, but to as an example to others of what can be achieved when you set your mind to it. So, and then of course, then you have the king, who is very much in charge, in control. He's surrounded by um, the bounty of wealth that he has, and he's not just. I don't think it's just sort of like material wealth. That can be part of it. Having an abundance, having a little bit more than what he needs, so that he can share with others and take care of those under that he's responsible for. He's comfortable, and that, but it's not just sort of like financially or anything like that, or possessions. It's also the kind of environment he's built, the kind of life that he's built for himself, and being in charge of that, and that he's achieved that, he's directed that, he's took the reins, and this is what has been brought into reality as a result. So those are the different levels of the different aspects of all the court cards that I believe relate to being self-empowered, to being empowered to move forward on our path. Now, to finish with, I wanted to come up with a sort of like a spread, or some kind of way of using the court cards in a reading to gauge where we're at in each of these areas, with our ideas and our minds and our emotional empowerment, and with our vision and passion and sense of purpose, and also our sense of what we're creating in our lives, and what level of empowerment we're at. And because there's only like 4 court cards, and you got 16 cards, and just using these cards, I thought, if we mix them all together, would be hard to, shuffling just 16 cards is a bit tricky. And then if we were wanting to look at each area separate, which was what I was sort of hoping to do, then we'd be just shuffling 4 cards. And then I had an idea, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to put the court cards back into the deck at random. And you'll see why that we're going to do that. And I'm going to do a reading for myself to illustrate this, but this can be done by you if you want to do this for yourself. And I'm going to use myself as an example, and then you can go away and try this yourself. And this may give you a bit of insight as to where you're at and how you can move forward. Now, the other thing I want to say before we do that is, when I've gone from the pages up to the kings one by one, up to through the knights, queens, kings. Yes, it is a sense of leveling up and going up a rank, or a different type of energy of the same essence of what we're talking about. But it's not a sense of, once you've reached like the king, that's it. You've achieved the king's stage, and that's it. That's what you're set at. Because I believe that at different times we flow up and down that sort of range between the page through to the king at different times and in different situations. So it's not a sense that once we're promoted to the king, that's it, we're done. No, it's an ongoing flowing backwards and forward process. And this is why I felt that that what we're about to do next, it could be useful to us to see where in that process that we're at where we're at the time, at this time, and what the universe wants us to take from that to empower us to move forward. So we're going to shuffle the deck, and what we're going to do, we're first going to look at the swords, the sword suit, which is about the mind, how our mind is, how we can empower our minds and our thought processes, and use that in our self-empowerment. So what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle the deck, and then when we're satisfied that we've shuffled the deck enough, we're going to say, right, that's then what we're going to do is we're going to then, when we've shuffled it, we're going to then start looking through the deck until we reach the first sword court card, and that will be the card that we have for us. So we go, and that's a Queen of Wands, so it's not a sword. We'll come back to that later. Knight of Swords. So this is our card for the intellect. This is like putting. So this is my reading. This is putting. With this is my level to be empowerment, is to put the knowledge I have gained into practice, into action. That is the next stage for me. That is the empowering level for me to to move forward, is to start acting upon the knowledge that I have, that I've gained, to be aware of what I've learned and how I can use that, and to then use it and make it work for me. That is the key to my mental planning, strategic and also in communication, when I've learned on how to communicate with others, communication is part of the swords too, and actually dating, communicate with people. You may know how to do it, but unless you're actually doing it, what's that knowledge worth to you? So so that's my card for the swords. So we go back again and we give it another shuffle, and now this time we're looking for the cups for our emotions. Okay, so we take the cards from the top until we reach a cups court card, and hopefully it won't be too long before we reach that. That's a wands court card, and get to those in a while. Some pentacles. I haven't found a. I'll try and speed this up until I find. So you keep taking the card off the top, laying it down until you find. There we've got the first cup one I've reached is the King of Cups. So you're saying that I have a bit of mastery of emotion. I know how to respond. I'm aware of my emotions, and they don't control me. They don't overwhelm me. I'm in charge, and it's not that I can have a struggle with emotions, but I know that I know I've learned how to deal with difficult emotions, and I recognize the signs of when I need to take action emotionally to say this is not the right way to respond. So very much an in charge, empowered, emotional sort of stage, as far as what the reading for me is concerned. So, two very good cards there. So, and we're going to do this 2 more times, and okay, I'm going to spend too much long on this. So we're looking for wands now, for our passions, for our purpose, for like career, or what we're driven to do. No one's court card yet. Let's have a look. And the Page of Wands. Here we go. That's the first one. So, yes, I believe this is true for me. That very much at the beginning stage of knowing a new phase, purpose, a new phase of what I want to do. What is it that's going to give my life meaning, purpose? And this is the stage I'm at the moment, of looking at the possibilities and how I might proceed with that. And that can often come, we know that we've got that emotional stability to deal with that. And we know that it's time to act on any ideas that we have. And maybe through that, I can get a sense of what my purpose is and what I want to do next. And then, of course, lastly, we want the pentacles. What sort of level of manifesting, of taking care of practicalities of things, and such forth. What sort of level of empowerment, am I presently at there? And so we're going to do what we did before, and we're looking for a Pentacles court card. So no, so Three of Pentacles, Emperor, Queen of Pentacles. Here we are. So this is like the nurturing aspect. Maybe we need, maybe this is my reading, so maybe I need to nurture this aspect of my life. I need to look at my environment, look at the physical realities of the situations that I'm in, and see how I can nurture and take care of them. So it's a very much a developing, nurturing sort of sense of creating the environment and the things that I need, and looking at how I can best take care of those, and not only for myself but for others too. So yeah, so those are my 4 cards. I have the Knight of Swords, the King of Cups, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So I've got a king, a queen, a page, and a knight. That's interesting, isn't it? I've got one of each. So, you know, I'm at the different, when I say levels, I mean the different types of energy about it. All these energies are not, you know, the king is no more important than the page. It's just a different level or type of energy to me. And, you know, as I said, the page can be at any time can be the most important aspect of that. So so as I say, you take the deck and you shuffle first of all for each, and you're looking each time you're going to do it 4 times, one for each suit. So the first time you'll be doing it, say, swords. So you shuffle the deck until you're ready, and then you take from the top. You take the cards off until you reach the first sword court card, and that is the card for the suit of swords, and then you move on to the next suits and so forth. Just to recap how that's done. So, and then we can use that as it's like a snapshot of where we might be, and that gives us more insight as to where we're at and how we can move forward, and what we're supposed to be paying attention to at this particular moment. And that in itself is self-empowering. So I think, to conclude, self-empowerment is taking charge of our own journey, our own path, making our own decisions and choices. And there are things beyond our control, situations that happen, things that other people do. But the one thing that we can do is we can choose how to react to that and respond to that. That's where we have the ability to take charge, and how we can, whatever situation that we're in, how we can navigate that in accordance with the path that we want to follow. And sometimes a path will go, you know, it doesn't go in a straight line. It will go round and round different ways, and up and down and everything like that. So it's not a uniform experience, and it has its challenges and obstacles to maneuver around. But with the choices that we make, we can do that. So ultimately, we are in charge of our own destiny. But it's up to us to choose that, to not let situations or others dictate to us what we're going to do with our lives. Is up to us. We're in charge of us. We are responsible for us, and it's all up to us to make those decisions. But when we do so, that in itself is the most empowering thing about it. So let's make those choices. Let's make those decisions. Let's not just sit around and expect life to happen. Let's make it happen by the choices and decisions we make. So that's all I have to say on the subject. And unless I think of something else, and then I will come back to another video. But I hope that you've all received something. Thank you very much for the comments. Thank you. You go away and use that way of taking a reading and everything and working with it. And let's all go and fulfill our destiny, our life path, and see where it takes us. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, everyone. It's been good to see you all, and I will see you all very soon. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.